right to the side sex. Leave the fire and the roof style stuff. I'm on the grind like we're chasing the stars. From Millmore to Dew Valley, we've come so far. Talk about legends, yeah, we know the score. Ronnie and Bobby, we remember you more. From the highs of the Wembley fight to losing our trousers, still we ignite. Red and white with the pride, we're never gonna bow. Fighting like middlemen, hear the roar now. We're middlemen, we stand up tall. Through ups and downs, we give it all. From Millmore to Dew Valley.
Good evening and welcome to Terrace Talk. We are back for Rotherham United talk. No World Cup. Well, there will be some World Cup later, but we've got away from that. We've got a strong panel tonight. We've got the voice of reason, Pete. How you doing, Pete?
Oh, God, mate, glad to be back. It feels like it's been ages since I've been on.
We've got a lot to discuss tonight, so I am really looking forward to this one. We haven't seemed to have spoke for ages about Rotherham United. We've got Ben, who's been the star of our World Cup. How you doing, Ben?
I'm all right, thank you, Lee. First podcast for me since February, but yeah, I'm looking forward to a good show this evening.
Good man. And we've got the man, the myth, legend that is Dave Besley. My right-hand man, not literally my right-hand man. Don't get things confused on here, but the top man, Bez. How you doing, Bez?
Yeah, good, thanks. And yeah, as Pete said, it's good to have some Rotherham talk, and hopefully we have a bit more of a positive season this season. Can't be any worse than last couple of seasons, surely. So yeah, looking forward to it.
So, obviously, we've got a lot of comments coming in, a lot of people watching live already. It's good to be back, Pete. Yeah. It's good to be back. Callum. Yeah, it is, mate. Thank you for watching. How's it going, lads? Golden Sports 1286. Yeah, we're good, mate. Good evening. Up the Millers from Stephen. Yeah, up the Millers, mate. John Sullivan. Evening, lads. Up the Millers. This appointment could be worse. From Callum, and obviously Golden Gates Sports says, how come, Callum? So we are going to go straight into it, and the numbers are rocking up already. 187 people watching live, which is absolutely fantastic, which has shot up to 190 within 2 seconds. So lots of people wanting to listen to, obviously, the guys. So we're going to get into it. We did a poll on the website to say whether I was going to be happy with the Alex Bruce appointment. Now, 78% said that I'm never happy, which I feel a bit offended by, to be honest. I am happy. I'm a Rotherham United fan. I will get into my thoughts, but I'm going to start with the panel. I'm going to start with Pete. What are your thoughts on Alex Bruce being named the Rotherham United manager? 1, are you happy? 2, was it the appointment you wanted? And 3, how do you think he's gonna do in these games?
When his name were mentioned, I was a bit shocked, to be fair. I thought we might have gone for somebody a bit experienced, who's won promotion. But give him a go. Obviously, brings in Steve Agnew as well. That's another experienced head with him. Yeah, let's see how he does. I hope he does well. Let's not get on his back after 5 games. Let's give him a bit of time.
Is that aimed at me, Pete?
No. I'll say he's got to build a squad from scratch because we've hardly got any players, have we? So let's just give him a bit of time. It might take 15 games to get us going. You don't know, do you? But obviously, he might have connections in game through his dad and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I didn't expect him to be named the manager. So if it were between him and some experienced managers, I probably wouldn't have picked Alex Bruce. But yeah, let's give him a go, see how he gets on.
Yeah, fair enough. Ben, what are your thoughts on Alex Bruce? Are you happy with the appointment?
It's like when I read it last night. Very good appointment, obviously. Just let's see how we get on with him, because I think he'll do well if he brings his signings in. I think we'll do really well. I listened to his interview last night. Brilliant. I can't fault him. He's eager to go, and I think he will do well at our club. He will do very well.
So Ben's very happy with the appointment. So some unreal numbers coming in again. 627 people watching live. Thank you ever so much. If you're not subscribed, please go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Hit the notification, and it will notify you of every time we go live. We've got a lot of World Cup content. We've got a lot of Rotherham content. And I think the Rotherham fans are coming out in force tonight to support the channel, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm going to go on to Bez. He's a bit of a critic at times, like myself. So, Bez, are you happy with this appointment?
Yeah, well, obviously I did a live watch along last night, and obviously I kind of gave some of my thoughts on that. So I'm relatively okay with it. I'm gonna try and see the positive side to it. Look, in a perfect world, like yourself, Lee, I'd have wanted someone who was well known, like a Ryan Lowe or a Darren Ferguson or a Gary Rowell or someone like that. But I think we all knew, as Rotherham fans who have got a chairman who does seem to have checked out a little bit. I think we all knew that we weren't going to get anything like that. Unfortunately, like I did say before, that under Stewart, he has tended to go from like appointing like a chief option, like I'm sure he just tend to jump from that into like appointing like a very good manager, like he did with Steve Evans when he got rid of Liam Richardson. He's done it a few times, so I suppose there was half a chance he could have appointed like a big name, but as we've said, because he's kind of checked out, that's kind of gone, unfortunately. So you look at who's left and who's available. Now, I am not too displeased with Alex Bruce. I think that he's going to have a lot of experience in and around him. Obviously, he's got Steve McClaren who's going to be looking after him from a club or from inside the club. Then I'm sure he's still going to pick up the phone to his dad. And let's face it, Steve Bruce, if Alex Bruce is half as good a manager as his dad were, then he'll do well for Rotherham. So I'm kind of so-so with the appointment, but I've decided that I'm going to try and get behind him. I agree with Pete. I do think it's a good chance for the whole club to come together. We've complained about the fact that the club is split down the middle, 50% on this side, 50% on that side, whenever we appoint a new manager. This guy has only been a manager at like a conference league side in Macclesfield. He's got no kind of other history. So he could end up being good. He could end up being bad. We actually don't know. But for once, if we can all of us get behind this new manager, all seen from the same hymn sheet, I'm hoping it helps us turn the Rotherham United ship from sinking and obviously going forward and trying to get them back on the straight and narrow path. And hopefully they are towards the higher end of the league, because unfortunately, Pete, I kind of agree with you. If Rotherham have lost, 3 out of the first 6 games, then he's got to be given some time. But I genuinely believe that if we're like, 19th, 18th, 19th by December, I think you'll find that a lot of Rotherham fans will want this kid gone, and I think he will be gone. So I get your point, but I just think that knowing what Stuart's like, and I just think that if he's struggling, if we're like 9th, 10th within 3 or 4 points at playoffs, I think it'll be fine. But if he's near the bottom by December, I think he'll be gone. Just my thoughts. So yeah, I'm okay with it, Lee, is what I'll say, but I'm going to try and be positive about it.
So some cynics would say that this is a cheap option. What would you say to that? And I'll start with you, Bez.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. It does look like that. But what I would say is, you got to compare employing someone like Alex Bruce to who did Matt Hanshaw. And I just think it's a big difference, because the view of Hanshaw is Matt Hanshaw had been a coach for at least 20, 25 years. And this was his first managerial job, and I think you could tell that it just wasn't going to work with Hanshaw right from the beginning. Whereas with Alex Bruce, because he hasn't really got that, yes, he's had a coach position a couple of jobs, but only on short-term contracts. I think because he's not got that historic, whether it's positive or negative, I think he is starting like with a blank canvas, and therefore you can give him the benefit of the doubt, and that's just the difference between like him and like a Matt Hampshire. Look, I think you're right. This guy won't be on the massive wages, right? But I don't think that the club or Steve McClaren, I don't think he's said, right, let's just employ the cheapest guy around here. I think they have done a little bit of due diligence, and that's why it took a longer time to appoint this guy. And that's just what I think anyway.
Wouldn't you said both the other two were cheap options as well? So Sadler and the other guy weren't exactly... not I don't think anybody that we've gone for has really excited me, so to speak.
No, and I agree with that, and I do agree with that. But as I said right from the start, when I kind of started my spiel on the new manager, I wasn't expecting someone like a name. I just because I think the chairman has kind of checked out a little bit. I wasn't really expecting a guy out or
accepting mediocrity appointment then, or
I don't you don't know that though, do you? Like the thing is, if they appointed the Walsall manager, right, I'd have been okay with that because he's got experience of getting a club to the top of the league. Yes, they faltered at the last half of the season, but that's because he lost a lot of players in that January window. A few players on loan went back. You have quite a few injuries as well. He's got experience of kind of getting a club at least towards the top of the season. So I'd have been okay with that. The one manager I didn't want was Birchnell because he had got experience, and his experience was one of the worst experiences you can have. He was awful at Notts County. He was awful at Forest Green. He struggled at Notts County. Notts County, a club who are a League One club at least, he was struggling to get them out of the conference. So that was the one I didn't want. At least with this guy, Alex Bruce, I can see an up-and-coming manager who could go on and be even better than, say, Rotherham United. I'm not saying if that'll happen, but I could see that could happen going forward.
Fair enough. Ben, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's a cheap option? Obviously, you seem pretty happy with the appointment. So, where are you at with it?
I've been doing a bit of research into him.
Come on, Ben, show us the research, lad.
So, he was at Macclesfield, obviously. He managed Macclesfield. He was his assistant manager at Salford, but Salford nearly went up last season, and that's quite giving me confidence. But let's see. It is his first job in League Two. Well, obviously he went to Salford, but let's see how he gets on.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the beauty of this is what I like about it is he isn't a manager that's a merry-go-round manager. He's not been failed somewhere else, come here. He's not opt on and off. The thing that I really do like about it is he wants to be here. You can tell from the interview. And I think with the structure that we have currently got, where Steve McClaren is obviously going to be the main man, he's going to make all the big decisions. He's going to have a hand in probably team selection and tactics. And I think Alex Bruce is comfortable with that. What you couldn't have here is a Steve Evans type. It wouldn't work with Steve McClaren because he wants to do his own thing. An experienced manager wouldn't put up with what Alex Bruce, I think, is going to agree to do. He's kind of been more of a coach on the field with the players, whereas Steve McClaren is doing more the tactical side of the game and recruitment and stuff like that. So I think this could actually work. And I'm with Bez on this now. I'm fed up of feeling fed up about Rotherham United. I'm fed up about moaning. I don't want this manager. I don't want that manager. Who do we want? We're in League Two now. and we have actually got to lower his expectations. I think the majority of I do think it's a cheap option, but it's had to be a cheap option because I think Steve McClaren has took a big chunk of that because there's no way Steve McClaren's a cheap option. Yeah. And I'm happy with that appointment of Steve McClaren. And I'm happy that Alex Bruce wants to come. He's willing to work. He's young. He's hungry. And I think if they bring Steve Agnew in as well, I think he's an experienced head. That's what should have happened with Matt Amshaw. This is no difference. Alex Bruce, Matt Amshaw, I don't think there's no real difference. The difference is the people surrounding Alex Bruce are going to be much better than what Matt Amshaw had. Matt Amshaw made that mistake himself, by the way. I'm not giving Big Boy a pass for that because he had the opportunity to get an experienced number 2 in and some experienced coaches around him. He went and got his mates and it all backfired on him. So for me, go on.
Totally, I was going to say, so because I think you made a good point there. You know, we've said about Alex Bruce and that it could be seen as a cheap option. However, Steve Agnew is not a cheap option. Steve Agnew is a manager who has is an assistant manager who has been an assistant manager at clubs in the Premier League, like Aston Villa, for example. So even though Alex Bruce coming in is a bit of a gamble, don't you think that with Steve Agnew coming in, that actually makes you think, I'll tell you what, that's going to be a great actual coaching team. And Alex Bruce, like you said, he has surrounded himself with good experience. So surely that must make you think, I'll tell you what, yes, Alex Bruce hasn't got a lot of experience. However, bringing Steve Agnew in as assistant manager is a great kind of addition to the club.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So, I like I said, Rotherham United not doing well affects my mental health. I'm sure it affects your mental health. And it really affects my mental health that actually people think I want Rotherham to lose or whatever they want to do. I want Rotherham to be successful. I'm fed up of sort of being fed up with how the club's run off the pitch. That has still a lot to be desired. A lot of change needs happening there. But I am happy with Steve McClaren. I am happy with Agnew. And I'm happy with Alex Bruce, actually, purely because I don't think he's tainted with any sort of bad experiences in the past. I think, like you said, he's experienced people around him that will help him, coach and guide him. And I actually think this is what Rotherham United need. And the other thing, what I do like about it, he's not linked to Rotherham United in any way. So he's not been an ex-player. He's not been an ex-coach. He's not been, Matt Amshaw from Romarsh. He is Alex Bruce, the son of ex-Manchester United legend. So for me, again, he'll be able to lean on his dad as well. That's another bit of experience he's got around him. And I'm with Bez. I think how nice this could be. Because can you remember when in the good old days when Ronnie he was young up and coming manager, and we were fighting clubs off because they wanted to take him from him. Teams were looking at Ronnie Moore, and we were hoping we could keep on to him. Same with Paul Warne in the second stint of when he was doing really well. People were saying, "Oh, Paul Warne could go." Wouldn't it be nice for once, some better, bigger teams looking at our manager, a young up and coming Alex Bruce, and we've got that young coach that has brought an energetic. Because I listened to his interview, and I'll be honest with you, I was impressed with his interview. I was impressed with his interview. I'm not going to lie to you, I was impressed with his interview. The thing that, and we're going to get onto the new signing as well. I was impressed with his interview because I think we're signing players again that actually want to be here. There might not be household names, but let's be honest. Michael Smith, Will Vokes, Dan Barlasser. There wasn't household names when they come to Rotherham United. We made household names because they're built into a team. They're built into what Rotherham United is. And I think Steve McClaren is a very, very clever man. And I think we're lucky to have him, yeah? And I think he will build that culture again. And like you said, Pete, we do need to give it time. But the problem with football is, let's be honest, if we're bottom of the league in November, people are going to be back to square one of doom and gloom because that's football. Unfortunately, football, you're not allowed that much time. You name out how many clubs give managers time, because you've got to get the results on the pitch that buys you that time, that buys you that trust of the supporters. But I'm happy with the appointment. I'm going to back him. I want Rotherham United to be successful. I think we can walk this division, because I think this division is as poor as it's ever been. And I think, I was having a chat with Bez offline, I think if we get promoted this season, we can walk through League One, because you've got that promotion bounce. And if you've got people in the recruitment like Steve McClaren, Steve Agnew, Alex Bruce will have a lot of contact in the game through his dad as well. You know what I mean? So all of these people, but it does need the board's support. They do need to back him at some stage. He's got to get a full squad of players. Now, what kind of caliber of players? Already we've seen Ashley looked at. That would be a fantastic signing in my view. We will go on to that a bit later. I'm just going to go through the comments, and I'll ask you all your thoughts on them. So Callum says Paul Millen has been released from Wrexham. Should we sign him? Pete, should we sign Paul Millen?
100%. He'd get 20 in that league. Easy.
Yeah.
If I was to know, definitely.
Mate. Ben, Paul Millen?
Yeah. I do agree with Pete.
Bez, would you go for it? And is it realistic? He's going to be on big money.
So I definitely would go for it. And in terms of being realistic, I think it is, because let's face it, Paul Mullen went on loan to Wigan last year and didn't actually do that well. So I just wonder if League Two actually is his level. And because of that, I think there's a chance Rotherham could actually string him in. And I also think as well, so if he's got offers on the table, one's from Rotherham, one's from like a Burton or Exeter or Wimbledon, he's going to choose Rotherham, because Rotherham are the bigger club of those teams. And Rotherham's also got a brilliant chance of getting promoted, whereas those sides are going to be fighting relegation in League One. So I do think there's a chance we do get him. I don't think we will get him, by the way, but I do think it is realistic to say that we could sign Paul Mullen.
Patrick Doucet says, I think it's a good appointment. Yeah, so I think everybody on the panel tonight has been positive. We have got some new panelists coming as well. We've got a female that's joined us as well that is very passionate about Rotherham. She seems quite upbeat about it as well. So it'd be interesting to get everybody's views over the summer. Danny says, evening, gentlemen. Evening, Danny. Hope you're well, mate. Thank you for tuning in. I have noticed you've been tuning into our World Cup shows as well with Bez. So really do appreciate that, mate. John Sullivan, I agree with Bez. It's time to look forward. Yeah, I agree, John. Last season was rough. We need some fresh new things. Yeah, totally agree with you. Does the head coach just mean in charge of the team? So McClaren still does the transfer, etc. Yeah, that's correct, John Sullivan. So the recruitment team of Rob Scott and Steve McClaren will do the recruitment. And obviously he just manages the team on a Saturday afternoon or Tuesday and training. So yeah. So basically what it is if a manager doesn't succeed, it shouldn't have a big impact on the football club, because whoever comes in, they will fit that remit of what that team has been built. So it will be a manager to suit that style of play. So if it doesn't work with Alice Bruce, they've got somebody in place to take it, and it won't be a overhaul of players again, in theory. That's how it should work. Sam, Alex Bruce has less manager badges than Matt Hamshaw. Thoughts on that, guys?
Let me stand this actually, Sam. You may be right, Sam, but what I did here is we've got another colleague on, if you like, within our team who supports Tottenham Hotspur. He also supports Dorking Wanderers, and Dorking Wanderers manager, I forgot his name now, but he's got no badges at all, and he's won about 6 promotions in a row. And he said that if he gets to the League Two, because he's not allowed to manage at League Two level without the qualification of I don't know what badge it is, but you need a certain qualification to be able to manage in the Football League, and he's not got it. So he said that he'd hire someone who has got the qualification, let them make tea or put them in the kitchen or do whatever, and he's still gonna be the manager. I forgot his name though. Mark White, isn't it? Mark White. So I think having badges doesn't mean anything, to be honest with you. I'd rather the manager have his own personality, his own stamp on things. So yeah, it doesn't matter to me that he's not got as many badges as Matt Hanshaw. I don't know what you think, Lee.
Yeah, I'm the same. Tom's in. Yes, I agree, Lee. Dialong.
Try to say that, Lee.
No, I'm not even.
Dialang, was it Dialang Yosemite? I think it was.
Just hope he gets a decent budget. Not looking at injury-prone freebies. Well, I think we will be looking at a lot of freebies, mate, and I'm not sure about the injury-prone bit. I know it's
he did talk about injury-prone players on his interview, to be fair. And look, sometimes you do get unlucky with these things. You bring a player in who's got no historic bad injury record, we bring them in and they're injured. You sometimes can't help it, to be fair. I don't think last season on purpose we brought all these players in who were injured. Obviously, there was some we knew about, and we probably shouldn't have brought those in. But there were some players who've not had many injuries in their career and they just got unlucky last season. So I don't think it's I don't think they'll do it on purpose.
I know it's not Rotherham later, but Spurs have more pull than Man United, somehow beating them to Mateus Fernandez. Yeah, I think the guy's on crack cocaine, if I'm totally honest with you. But there you go. He wants a relegation battle over Champions League. So that tells you what kind of level of player you've got there. Rotherham Gaming says Josh Flint.
Yeah, he'd do a good. I think he's some sort of defender. He'd do a good signing that. So yeah, that's a good suggestion by Rotherham Gaming.
Rotherham Gaming has just got some eyes. I'm a bit worried about will it be many chefs going to spoil the broth scenario. So, what are your thoughts on that? Too many chefs spoil the broth? From Sam.
I'll be honest, no idea. I'll let Pete or Ben answer that one.
I think it means so many people in and around. Like, he's got McClaren, he's got Agnew. Obviously, might bring somebody else in.
Haven't most football clubs got an assistant manager?
He's worked under that before, Alex Bruce. So I don't think it'll bother him that.
I think it did bother some of the managers, and I think that's why they've turned us down. I don't think it's purely to do with the fact of the budget or anything like that. I think it's to do with the involvement of the senior sort of team. So Alex Bruce has obviously signed on knowing what he's signing up for. So I don't think that will be an issue personally, but you could see. Think we should keep Nombe, lads. Right, I'm gonna go around the room for this one because I've got an opinion on it. Obviously, doesn't want to be here. So bear that in mind when you said what you would do. So I'll start with you, Pete. Sam Nombe, would you keep him?
No, because he don't want to be here, and he'll be a bad egg, won't he? So I get rid.
Ben?
Yeah,
Sam Nombe?
I mean, I'm 50-50 on this. If Paul Mullin does get in, I think he will go. But if we don't bring Mullin in, Nombe will ace that league as well. That's my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. Good opinion, Ben. Ben?
Yeah, I'd say I think I agree with Pete, but also I think it's a bad look on the club if they were to keep him. He struggles, had a bad season, and then they lose on a free transfer. I think they can get 500k at least for him, and I think that money can go towards having a bigger budget this season. So yeah, I'd be looking to sell him personally.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if he wanted to stay, that'd be a different option. I'd keep him all day. But the fact that he wants to go, I think we had too many players that were unhappy last season that didn't really want to put the shirt on. And that's why we saw some half-hearted performances, because you can't say that the majority of them players weren't good enough for League One. but their attitude some of the time really did stink. So yeah, I agree with you guys. McClaren is a top name and he will have some pull. Yeah, I agree, John. Isaac Hutchinson says Rotherham Gaming. Yeah, that's a good signing. Another good one here from Callum, RUFC. Kyle Wootton is a good signing, maybe. Yeah, I think he'd be an awesome signing.
Let me ask on that, Lee, the panel. So if you could choose one between Carl Wootton and Paul Mullin, who would you choose? Pete, I'll start with you.
Carl Wootton, 100%.
Ben?
Carl Wootton as well.
Wow. That's surprising. I mean, especially when Ben was really praising Paul Mullin and how much he'd love to sign him. That does surprise me, to be fair. Okay. What about you, Lee?
I would go Kyle Wootton as well because I think he's more a Rotherham United player. I think he's a bit of a Alex Revel, Michael Smith type of player. So I would go Kyle Wootton. Yourself, Ben?
Interesting. I'd like both, but I agree with you completely, Lee. I do think that Carl Wootton is a Rotherham type player, a bit of a target man who scores, obviously not as many goals as Paul Mullin, but he gets enough to warrant like a target man striker. No, I'd actually go Paul Mullin because I think Paul Mullin guarantees you 20, 25 goals in that league. So I'd go Paul Mullin.
Yep. So lots of comments coming in. I'm going to go through them all. We've got 905 people currently watching, which is absolutely amazing. I want to thank every one of you, Rotherham United fans. And everyone says we're a small club, but we can get these sort of numbers watching live, which is absolutely fantastic. I think Bez was a little bit worried about the 6 o'clock start with it being early, people getting home. So it's like, I don't think we'll get that many people viewing tonight. But
we're really just doing just fine.
Really do appreciate it. So hopefully this next comment from Danny is going to be the feeling of the season, because I feel positive about this season. So Danny's comment sums up basically how I feel, really. It's a really good comment, so I'm going to read it out now. Excited for this season. I think Bruce and Agnew will bring a great balance of youthfulness and experienced older manager who's been around the block to guide him through it all. And I think that's a great point by Danny. So thank you, Danny. Bob Dude, evening, lads. Have a great show. Bob Dude, obviously, if you don't know who Bob Dude is, you must have been living on a rock. He's our guy that's been doing a lot of the live watch-alongs in the World Cup. So, yeah, good to see him in the chat tonight, in the Rotherham United chat. He's a Brighton fan. So, yeah, good stuff. That's me, Bez. It's me talking about me.
He's on about, when I talked about that Mark White at Dorking Wanderers, and I said one of our team, it's that, it is LJS.
Chairman of Dorking is Mark Wright, Jamie Holmes, big risk, but I hope it pays off. It can't be worse than I'm sure. So Jamie saying it can't be worse than I'm sure. Yeah, we hope that it can't, to be fair. But I think Hampshire would have had more of a chance if he'd have sort of put the experience around him, which Alex Bruce seems to have got. So Andy Brown, if you can bring in Agnew for help, I'll be more impressed. Yeah, so Agnew hasn't been confirmed, by the way. I know we keep saying Agnew. They believe he is set to be announced, but it's not officially confirmed. So if that doesn't happen, will that change your views on the situation? If he ends up with Woody as his number 2, would that change your mind on things? Because I think it would me. So Andy Brown is right to be cautious here. He'd be more impressed if Agnew does come in, because we're talking like Agnew's here is not at the minute. So that is a good one, really. I
agree. I agree, Andy. Agnew is a very important member to bring in. If we didn't bring Agnew in and we brought like I said, if it was Richard Wood, for example, I'd be really concerned. I do think employing Steve Agnew, assistant manager, is extremely important.
What's your expectations this season? Do you think we should be aiming for top 3, or would the playoffs be a realistic target? So I'm going to start with Ben on this one. Ben?
Yeah.
What's your targets for next season? do you think we should be aiming the top 3, or do you think the playoffs?
I want us to basically aim for top 8, for top 10, because you have got you have got some very interesting teams there, like York and Chesterfield and Barnet. But I want us to be top 8. I want us to be challenging for automatic promotion, because there's 3 spots instead of 2. I really want us to be top 8 with the manager that we've got.
Okay. Pete, where do you want us to be challenging? Do you think top 3 is realistic? Do you think the playoffs? What do you think?
Top 2. I don't bother. Obviously, McClaren will have better pull of players. We'll have no injury-prone players. We'll be a lot better this season. I think we'll be top 2.
Super. And
that's what I expect. Yeah.
Yeah, same as Pete. Obviously, top 3 rather than top 2, because obviously you're 3 go for automatically. But yeah, I agree with Pete. I think the fact we've got Steve McClaren, and I think the fact we've got a young enough manager in, the fact that it looks like we are going to appoint a very experienced assistant manager in Steve Agnew. Obviously, we're going to come to it later, but it does look like we are going to be signing a very, if you like, a top class midfielder for this level. And I was just reading some comments about him earlier on X. And I've seen a lot of Salford fans can't believe that he's staying in League 2 with Rotherham. So that's the sort of player we should be attracting. They should be coming to Rotherham over a team like Salford, which it kind of makes me laugh that Joe Paul kind of went the other way. I do get it though. Joe Paul's had a really tough 2 years at Rotherham, because while he's been here, obviously Rotherham have just gone down and down. So I do get it. And he probably just wants to come out of the club and have a restart. Nothing to do with the size of the club. He just wants a restart. So I do get it. But yeah, this new signing looks like he's going to come in. I think that's like a marker to the rest of the league to say, look, lads, we're going to be signing the best League 2 players available who are probably good enough to play in League 1. And that means that Rotherham should be challenging top 3.
So my view is very similar, but mine is a bit more, because I think this league is absolutely awful. So you've got little teams in it like Chesterfield, York City, all these little nobodies. Yeah, they've been rattling around in League 2 for the rest of their lives. Yeah, they've got small budgets, small stadiums, small fan base. We are the big fish in League 2. Bear no bones about it. We're the Manchester United of League 2. Yeah. Everybody will, when these little muppets from League 2 get the little fixture, yeah, they're looking, when are we going to play Rotherham? When's Rotherham away? We want to go to that big state. Yeah. They're looking for us. Yeah. So I'm not having any jokes about this. I expect us to win the league. Yeah. And I expect to get 100 points and win the league. Yeah. That is where I'm at. Yeah. So for me, I think we should be aiming to win the title. And I like the new signing. He wants promotion. He wants to get at him. I want an attacking young team that gets up in the face, and every team that comes to New York Stadium gets splattered. Yeah. If we're losing to teams like Chesterfield, boy, oh boy, heads need to roll. Yeah. You can't allow your standards to drop that low. And I think we will. I think we'll steamroller this league. I can see us getting 100 points, getting promoted, and then getting promoted again. Well, I'm going to give you a prediction here now. We will be in the Championship before Barnsley do. That's 100%. Clip it, do whatever you want with it, yeah? We will be in the Championship before Barnsley. 100%. So that is where I'm at with it. We've got somebody in the comments with a bit of a different opinion to us, so we will read it out. We don't hide away from different comments. So Michael Sweeney says it's a terrible decision. We'll struggle in League 2. Should not have kept Holmes, as needed more time. Should not have kept Holmes, as needed more time on the pitch. We're getting under 18s for first team players since we don't have any. We should have kept Holmes.
Yeah.
Not for me. I think he's found his level in Conference North, wherever he's ended up. Boston United.
Boston.
So for me, Jack Holmes, great lad, like the kid, great heart, tried 100%, football ability of a big man. Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah, he probably won't get in our five-a-side team. So really, for me, Jack Holmes was one that was just there to make up the numbers. I think it was an awful signing.
Yeah, you've got to ask yourself, Michael. Jack Holmes, obviously, when Lee Clark came in, to be fair, he did play relatively okay under Lee Clark. But you got to think, he's been at the club for 2 years. Has Jack Holmes done enough over the 2-year period to warrant another year? I don't think he has. He probably shouldn't have signed last season. The only reason he did sign last season is because Hanshaw panicked, because I think we'd got to July and we'd still only got about 10, 11 players. And therefore he panicked and thought, I better give this kid a contract just to make the numbers up. So yeah, I'm with Lee. I don't think he's good enough at this level. I think he's probably more a Conference North kind of player. I think that's where he'll end. Well, he's going to bust into it, sounds of it, but yeah, he's not good enough to get in this team now.
Yeah, Pete, your thoughts, Jack Holmes?
I think Jack Holmes has, last few games, well, that's about it. But I think he's left because he knows the calibre of player that we're going to bring in, and he's got no chance of getting in the team. That's why he's left.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think.
Yeah, agree. Ben, what about yourself, mate?
Yeah, I totally agree with every single one. I don't think I was going to get in squad this season. There was no chance. I think Boston is the right place for him, I think, at the moment. And I hope he does well in that league.
Fair enough. Good comments, Ben. Good comments. Mid-table finish, says Michael Sweeney. John Sullivan, love us to be up there, late playoff or automatics for a great season. Callum says, love for us to go back up and Donny go back down. That's a good possibility. Time will tell.
I think there's actually, just on that, Lee, I think there's actually more possibility that Barnes go down than Donny.
Yeah, I agree with Bez.
Fair enough. Time will tell. Full of disappointments. So don't have any good expectations after the last couple of years. So yeah, Michael, I do agree with you, mate, on that. I can't disagree with that. I mean, we have been it's been beaten out of us as love for the game. I mean, this season doing this podcast has been so difficult. Well, last season was so difficult. Because not only were we getting beat every week, we were getting slagged off every week for calling the rubbish out. And everybody's saying, go and support Sheffield Wednesday. Bush is a Sheffield Wednesday fan, this, that, and the other. We've all, I think every one of us, apart from probably Ben and Pete, have had some real abuse. I think Pete's had some as well. I've had some real abuse about Rotherham United. I've even been stopped while I've been out and about saying, I don't agree with what you said, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, we all want Rotherham United to do well. And it last season was so difficult. So I get where you're at, Michael. It is difficult to come from that to this. But watching the World Cup, trying to get into the spirit, I think we've just got to try, forget what's happening with the regime, forget what's happening behind the scenes. Let's just try and get behind Alex Bruce and the team that he produces. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, does it? We can't do anything else but try and support them, because I think Bez were right at the start of the show. I think as a fan base, we need to start coming together and looking out for each other rather than just ripping each other a new arsehole every time we're online, because every time you go on X, somebody wants an argument with you. And they'd sooner side with a Sheffield Wednesday fan over a Rotherham fan. That's how bad our fan base has become. And it's become a very toxic sort of fan base. Home should have been given at least another 12 months, Michael Sweeney said. So, Michael, just so you can give me the reason for that, please, in your comments. So, what do you think he did to warrant another 12-month contract, other than he did give effort? I will give that, but that's a bare minimum for a football player. But other than that, why do you believe he should have been given a 12 months? If you can put that in the comments for me, I'd really appreciate that. I'm not saying you're wrong, mate. Football is about opinions. And I'm sure if Lee Clark was the manager, Jack Holmes would have probably got a further 12 months. But obviously, when Lee left, Steve McClaren's got a different view of things, clearly. And so has probably Rob Scott. So, yeah. Callum says the under 18 rumour is a fake. So, I mean, the under 18 rumour, I think, has come about from the club have said the youth team is going to train at Roundwood with the first team. But I like that because Manchester United, they all train at Carrington, whether it's the first team, whether it's the youth team, they're all in what, you know, you're not separated. They were training in Sheffield. In fact, the youth team were training at better facility than the first team, previously. So I think it should all be under one roof. And then if there is a young standout star kid that is 16, 17, if he's young enough, if he's good enough, it doesn't matter his age, get him in with that first team, get him accustomed to it and get him in. Because sometimes there's players at 16 and 17, they're going to be superstars. And if Rotherham got one of them on their hands, get them training with the first team, get them involved. Where Rotherham United is it needs to be better with the youth system. We need to produce good young players. I can't really remember the many good young players we've brought through since Ben Wiles. So, yeah. Should we be expecting more signings soon? But Ashley, so yeah, Ashley looks set to join from Salford. Now, I believe this is a fantastic signing because I believe Doncaster was after him, a couple of League One clubs. I think this would be a major coup. I believe Alex Bruce is the reason as well that he wants to come to Rotherham United. So already the new manager is you, because we never got that with Matt Amshaw. None of the players that was at Derby wanted to come and work with him. But already we've had this Ashley come. He wants to come and join his former work colleague Alex Bruce at Rotherham United. It looks like that's going to happen. I think that's a fantastic signing. I don't know about you guys. What are your thoughts on that? Anyone?
I don't really know much of him, but comments I've read on X, he shouldn't be playing League Two football. That says it all for me. Yeah. Obviously, I've read that Stockport, Barnsley, Doncaster, a few more League One teams. So yeah,
quite a few teams have been interested in him. I don't know if Bez knows much more about him. Obviously, he's got quite a array on players. Bez, are you familiar?
Yeah, I love that. I said about him slightly earlier, didn't I? To be fair, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't know. I don't know as much about League Two as I used to, mainly because Rotherham's not been there for quite some time. But what I've read about this guy is, it's kind of what Pete said. It does seem like a lot of League One clubs and the top League One clubs as well. Some top League One clubs have been interested in this guy. And as I said, I did see fans, if you like, of the players' ex-team very surprised that this guy's coming to Rotherham over a League One club. So it does bode well. And he does look to me like he's like a combative box-to-box midfielder from what I've seen. So yeah, it does look very promising, just from what I've read. What I might do actually, because I'm someone who records a lot of the highlight shows. Obviously all the goals that go in.
Yeah, so if you can
watch
get
on Saturday night.
Together, Bez, if you send them me over, I will produce a video of it as well.
I'll have a look then. Yeah, give us a bit of time, and I'll have a look then and see what I can send over.
If you can do the same for the new signing as well. So we're going to go on to Fabio now. So are we happy with Fabio, who signed from what they're called?
Burton.
Where's he come from? Burton Albion. What are your thoughts on that signing, Bez? You there, Bez?
Oh, Bez. Sorry, I said then. We need to get these names changed. So I'm actually look. You look at his his information, how many goals and assists he's got. It doesn't look great. I think he scored something like 7 goals for Burton last season. But what I like the look of him is he's just got pace, and Rotherham United have been crying out for pace in those forward areas for a long, long time. And I'm hoping this guy brings us that kind of pace. And so I'm quite excited by it. You know, don't forget, if you compare Rotherham to Burton, Rotherham are a team that historically will create more than Burton, regardless of what level they're at. Obviously, if they're in Championship Rotherham, then they won't. But in League One and League Two, Rotherham will create more chances than a team like Burton. And therefore, Fabio Tavares has more chance of scoring because he's creating more. And secondly, he's also dropping a level. He's obviously dropping from League One to League Two. And I'm not saying there's an absolute massive difference, but, you know, reading the comments on social media, I've got a few friends who are support like Chesterfield in League Two, and they all say the league's absolutely horrendous. So I think it's a good signing, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on in League Two. And I think he will. I'm not saying he'll get 30 goals, but I think he'll score between 15 and 20 goals next season, as long as he stays injury free.
I'm not so convinced. I think he'll be a squad player, but we'll see with the signings we make. Pete, your views on him? Do you know much about him?
I don't really know much about it. I've seen his goal scoring record. Listen, every player sometimes needs a fresh start, a new club, and it could bring best out of him. It might not be a start. He might be a good squad player for all we know. But yeah, it might just need a fresh start. That's all he needs. He might kick on.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Smith's goal score record wasn't good when we signed him, and that turned out to be
Agard was saying, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He were nobody, wasn't he, then?
Yeah, Agard's a great shout, Pete, actually.
Yeah, like I totally agree with everyone. Great sign. A bit questionable about his stats, but I think he can bring a lot of pace into the squad, and I hope he does well, and I hope he does score a lot of goals for us. I generally mean that.
Fair enough, Ben. Fair enough. We all do. Michael Sweeney, I'm not expecting anything this year. Need a long-term manager and build a team. Can't be switching out managers. Young players who are keen to prove themselves. Callum says we will win against Cheltenham, Chesterfield, and York. Andy says, have we got loads of money for all this change of personnel, or are we driving the accounts into red? No, Andy, I don't think we need much money. I mean, you have to have a squad of players, so they're all going to be free. So, I mean, we've probably saved literally all the big earners have gone now. So your Jordan Hugels have gone, Joe Powell's gone. So yeah, we've released a lot of players. So we're a football club. You have to run with a squad. So they're probably going to be all freebies and possibly loan players. So I doubt it will put the accounts into red, especially with the price of the season tickets at Rotherham United. And well done to all the supporters again, who have backed the club. I believe they've sold nearly 5,000 so far, which is an amazing achievement for the seasons we've had. So the fans are backing it. And there has been new investment into the club. So I know that we've done some new partnerships with some sponsors. So there is money coming into the football club. So I wouldn't be worried about the accounts going into red. I think the wage bill will be cut significantly from last season anyway. But we do have to sign players. There'll probably be a minimum of 12 to 14 players coming in summer, so and it's needed. Injury prone Gamble signing hopefully doesn't go out injured, says Michael Sweeney. Jamie Holmes.
Who's that? Sorry, is that Fabio Tavares he's talking about there, Michael?
Yeah, he has got a bit of a sketchy injury record apparently.
Okay.
What's happened with the takeover? That looks like it's not going to happen. From the interview that Tony Stewart did, he says it definitely won't be happening this season. So it looks like that is either on the back burner or it could happen, but maybe next season. Obviously, Tony Stewart isn't getting any younger, so eventually something will need to happen. Obviously, Richard Stewart isn't really interested in Rotherham United. So, I mean, looking at the outgoings, Bez, is there any players that have left that you're disappointed with? So, Joe Powell.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with Jordan Hugo to start off with. I kept changing my mind on Jordan Hugo, whether or not I wanted to keep him. I do think it is the right decision that he's gone. Again, I think like Pete kind of said about Fabio Tavares, I think with Jordan Hugo is a case of he probably needs just a fresh start at a different club, because although he had a good first 6 to 10 months at Rotherham, he's kind of overseen a club that's gone down from halfway up the championship table to find themselves in League Two a couple of seasons later. So I probably think that's a good decision that he has got. Obviously, he was on high wages as well. I'd say I am disappointed with Joe Powell, because I've always liked Joe Powell. I'm one of the I was one of those Rotherham fans who actually thought Joe Powell's set pieces weren't as bad as what everyone making out. I'm not saying they were perfect, but I felt that he did whip in some dangerous corners every now and then, and we scored, if you like, quite a few from corners at one point. I can remember under Steve Evans where we take that corner where Powell would pass it to Flair 5 yards from him, who would stop it dead, and then Powell would cross it in. And we scored loads from that under Steve Evans. So, yeah, I'm disappointed that Powell's gone and joined a fellow League Two side. I really thought he was good enough to join a League One side, so I'm disappointed in that. I mean, I know I said earlier about Joe Powell might have wanted a fresh start as well, but I'm surprised. I'd say I'm very surprised that he has joined a team who, let's face it, they're not as big as Rotherham. He's gone downhill in terms of the club he's at. And let's face it, I still think Rotherham's got a better chance of promotion than Salford do. So, yeah, I'm surprised. I'm more surprised at that than anything else. But I don't think there's anyone else I would have kept now. I want us to have a complete restart, bring in his 14, 15 players. Have a look what Cambridge did, because they brought in 20 players plus and won promotion. If they can do it, we can do it. So yeah, I there's no one who's left. I thought, I'm disappointed that they've gone.
Fair enough. Pete, what about yourself? Anybody that's left that you'd wish we'd kept, or are you just happy to see the back of last season's squad?
Apart from Dangar going back, rest I'm not bothered about, to be honest. For the last 2 years they've not been bothered, have they? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Hugels, he tried. He was playing through pain, Barry, when he was sick. He was playing. Joe Powell, most frustrating player I've ever seen at Rotherham. The talent's there. He just never used it, did he? For me. No. So he was just frustrating. Dawson's gone. That's a plus as well. He's still a wage, didn't he, for 2 years? Yeah. He went on decent money as well. So yeah, I just love Dangar back. Hopefully McClaren can pull a few strings, and he's been liking posts on Instagram apparently. So
yeah, I've got a feeling Dangar will come back, but we will see. I believe we've got a chance of signing him. I know that's going to shock some people, but I believe we have. Ben, anybody you disappointed to see going?
I think like everybody said, I think Powell. I think he would have been a good player for us for League Two, but I don't know where he would fit in when the new signings come in. I think Cameron Dawson, I'm happy to see the back of him. I can't think of anybody else, to be honest.
Fair enough. YCC and RUFC, hey up lads, great to see the band back together. Millmore being demolished. Any thoughts? Yeah, I mean, it's sad, really. I had many special memories from the Tivoli nightclub to the actual stadium. So yeah, bit upsetting, but it is what it is, isn't it? Really. I'd like to have seen it being turned into an academy. I believe that was on the cards, but I'm not sure where they're at with that. But yeah, quite disappointing. Test Rigs, 182 watching, boys. Great work. Keep up the pod, boys. Yeah, no problem. Sad to see you, Gull, always give 100% play through injury when others didn't want to play. I think we would have been worth keeping hold of as backup on reduced wages. Bez, did you make a note of the comment to stay on the show? What's that about?
Yeah,
Bez?
so Callum just put a post on. We're talking about the pitch. So apparently, and I did ask Callum to kind of send an article related to it. Apparently, we're relaying our pitch or having the same sort of grass as Manchester United or something like that. But I've not seen it myself. I just said that if he mentions it. And he sends me the article linked to it, then we can talk about it. But he hasn't sent that, and I don't know where it is, like where there is an article, basically. So yeah, that's what it means, Callum. I've asked him to post it in here in the chat, like you'll see my note coming up when I've asked him to post it. So if he posts it, we can obviously have a chat about it. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know where the articles come from.
Drew Yearwood is another who would have been great at League Two level. Is Dango coming back? Second place up for grabs. Can see York taking the title of Moneybags ownership. Yeah, and obviously,
yeah, that's my comment there. Yeah.
So that wraps us up tonight, guys. Really enjoyed this show. The post was took down. Apparently, I bet it was fake news.
Right. Okay.
So yeah. Really appreciate everybody listening tonight. We nearly got to 1,000 views at one stage. So, yeah, fantastic. Obviously, the football is about to kick off, so numbers are dropping. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Pete, the voice of reason. Thank you to RUFC Ben. And thank you to Dave Besley. We will be back with a lot more Rotherham content this season. So, we've got some very exciting new people coming as well. So yeah, it's going to be really, really exciting, and there's going to be sort of different sort of shows mixing up. So fantastic news. Thank you for watching, and as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.